But if you look at a lot of the things that's happening with things like social media and Facebook, there's an underclass, there's all sorts of work, all sorts of hidden work that's going out to human beings actually doing it. So appalling jobs doing content moderation, which are generally really, really poorly paid, and a job that no human being should have to do, having to look at the really awful stuff. It's just horrendous. And a lot of the stuff like in machine learning is farmed out to people who are labeling images and doing sorts of stuff. It's actually people doing the labor. So in a sense, it's a bit of a con to say that it's the machines doing it, because there's armies and armies of people doing it, really low grade, really, really poorly paid people. So
that's a really interesting point, because it's like you said, because intelligence actually comes from humans, like real intelligence.
Yes, yes.
And so what they're doing is they're farming intelligence in people.
Yes,
and they're feeding it to the machine.
Yes, right? Yeah. That's one of the things.
That's really fascinating.
It's like ants.
And it's interesting that it's like you said, it inevitably happens that the people that are doing this, like the content moderation and the image labeling, are like semi-slaves, right? They're at the bottom of the social sphere. They get paid minimum wage or whatever, you know, and they work at night and do all kinds of crazy, they end up looking like the dregs of society, you know. And so then it even makes even more sense to imagine it like the Matrix, like really the Matrix. But instead of getting body, instead of farming for body, which is what the Matrix suggests, right? Is that they're getting energy from the humans. They're not, it's the opposite. They're actually farming intelligence and farming capacity to identify quality, because that's what the machine doesn't have. And so you get that from the humans.
But I also think one of the big problems, one of the background problems for when people are trying to think about the ethical issues here, are the paucity of how they're thinking about it. So a lot of the work that I see around AI ethics is basically built into what you might broadly call broadly utilitarian or broadly consequentialist ways of looking at things, which also fits into the ways in which intelligence is understood. So those are really interesting narratives, I think, as well. I mean, running behind AI. So there's lots and lots of different disputed definitions of how you might define intelligence and lots of different forms of intelligence. But the form that's often used, which fits really well with computing, is the idea that something along the lines of intelligence is the capacity to reach your goals, to be able to take steps to reach your goals. So that intelligence is just instrumental. So that it's just like an instrumental account of like a means end rationality, that you have a goal that you're aiming towards. So then it fits really neatly. It fits really, really naturally into, say, a utilitarian way of looking at things, where you're going to try to produce as much benefit as possible. We have certain goals and preferences, so that it fits into notions of trying to maximize happiness or minimize unhappiness, or looking at how we might achieve our desires or achieve our preferences. So it tends to fit into that. So one of the problems with that is that it fits into an idea of reason that fits really well into, say, like an Enlightenment ideal of reason, that we're just making progress because we're having more and more rationality, or we're achieving more and more of our goals, like a Steven Pinker type view. And then everything.
But the thing is that I don't actually mind that way of seeing intelligence, the capacity to reach your goals. It's just that there are higher goals and there are lower goals.
Yeah,
and
precisely.
So the world, like the materialist world and the Steven Pinker world, it's like it's a lower world. It's a world of whims and desires and pleasures and pain, whereas virtue and the good, let's say in a Christian sense or a Platonic sense, that's the goal, right? That's actually the actual goal of reality. And not only is it the goal of reality, but it is also the Achilles heel of artificial intelligence, which is why it has to farm, because what it's farming from people is not information. It's the good. It's farming quality, the capacity to recognize quality and to engage in quality. That's the purpose. And so it's flipping everything upside down, where it's instrumental. It's using instrumental. I can't say that word. Making instrumental the capacity to view quality in order to attain practical, more like
Yes.
money making and desire filling goals. So